What's up, guys? This is Atoya, Ravi, and Vishwa from the Raving Critic, and today we'll be talking about the movie Thunivu 2023. Oh my god, it was so terrible, dude. I don't know where to start from this movie. How do we start?
Uh, it was bad. I don't know. I honestly have no words. I already wrote the review for this movie and it was absolutely trash. Um, I did give it a 5.8. So how my ratings usually work is like right when I come out of the theater. Um, it's like usually at its highest, right? And so if I gave this movie a 5.8 straight out of the theater, you can imagine how absolutely garbage it was. And there's two parts to it, how I look at it. The first half and then the second half. If you were watching this movie in India, you're gonna have that intermission in the middle. And I feel so bad for everyone that had that intermission because usually they they hype it up, they get you to that climax, and then right when something crazy is about to go down, supposedly you get that intermission when you're watching in India, at least. In the US, we don't have intermissions, but anyways, sure they all went to go get their drinks and popcorn, came back and were absolutely disappointed when they watched the ending. I don't even know what I was watching at the end. I feel like because like in the first half it was good, Okay, I don't want to say good. It was like decent. Um like in the beginning, um I'm sure many people and you specifically have watched Vijay's Beast, right?
Yeah.
Um that movie started off with Vijay, like it started off with a gang doing some like robbery or like hijacking a mall, right?
Mhm.
And all of a sudden Vijay happens to be inside the mall, and they basically ended that entire movie inside that one place, right?
Yeah.
And from the viewer's perspective, I'd say it was a very they could have done more, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I felt for Thunivu too. And I was worried that's what they would do. They just, when I watched the trailer, this was gonna be a movie where they just ended it. They started and ended inside one place. No efforts on the settings, et cetera, and that's exactly what happened. Up until the first intermission. I mean, up until the intermission, the entire movie was inside of a bank. Excessive violence. They really lived up to that slogan of right here, or on this side, no guts, no glory, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like I also mentioned this in my uh, written review. I feel like there was too much guts and absolutely no glory, right?
Facts, facts.
It was just like right off the bat, we saw his intro, right? Dude,
Oh my dude,
like
don't even bro, it was nothing for me. Okay, you can go first, but dude, it made no sense. It was just a bunch of guns and some weird music from Gibran and him coming. And they literally spent the whole 20 minutes. Oh, I don't even want to get on it, dude.
I was like, cause like every time, cause like these Indian movies, right? More and more as we go like forward, the amount of bullets they're shooting is just like going up, and like they didn't even try on the CGI in this movie. I was just looking at
Of
the bullets,
course,
it was
yeah.
just blurs. I was like, they probably set a new record for the most bullets. Like we had KGF and we had
Yeah.
Vikram, but like those movies were actually good. This one was like, dude was just like every emotion he had, happiness, anger, whatever. It's like I pull out the gun, take someone down, right?
Oh
Exactly.
my
I was just
god.
like it was too much violence the entire movie. Um,
No, I feel like
and
they're trying to
after,
give it like a Ocean's 11 Hollywood type feel to it. And because here's the thing, right? I personally miss the days of Tamil cinema where there was like, I mean, they still have it, right? But then like the
Mhm,
hand-to-hand fights, the hand-to-hand combats, like
right.
the one-on-one hand-to-hand combats, where you
Hmm.
see back in the day, right? You didn't see like people just jumping and flying. You saw like real hand-to-hand combats where people were actually trained because people would actually get hurt. That's why they started incorporating all these like CGI weird flying bullshit, right? But when
Yeah.
it comes to like it's just when it's just action and there's no like emotion in the action, or there's no like reason why the hero's like fighting, then it makes no sense. KGF had a good reason, or even Vikram, right? Because Vikram's kind of like in the same dark action thriller genre, right?
Yeah.
So where Vikram, you had the character, you felt for Kamal when they try to steal the kid, right? But when it comes with Tuniva, right? Ajit and Manju Warrior are just like mindlessly like getting through all the villains, and then all of a sudden everybody has sympathy for the hero. And let's not get started. One thing that I hated about this movie is how they were trying to bring the whole Mangata thing where Ajit is like
Hmm.
this bad guy, right? And it would have been great to see him as a real bad guy, like a villain that you despise. It would have been a great. It would have been much better. But instead, they took the direction of talking about some like bank loan issue, and they justified the reason why he's like why he's like taking all this money, and it was just a really like weak, boring copy shunker movie. It's like a third graded shunker movie made into a haste. Like how terrible can you go? Like, I want to see Ajit as a villain, not justify some social garbage
Yeah,
mess.
that's the problem with a lot of these movies and nowadays is like something I really look forward to. And I'm gonna be honest, KGF really set the standard here. Was I one of the main factors I like to look for in a movie is predictability, right? Right when you sit down, if you know what's gonna happen in that entire movie within the first 10 minutes, that's absolute terrible movie. And that's what happened in Thunivu, right? They try to do this entire like, oh, he's a bad guy and like he's the one heisting. He's like the
Yeah.
biggest mastermind in this. And the entire time I was just sitting there like, I'm like, nah, bro, I know there's gonna be a flashback and he's gonna be the good guy. He's gonna be doing some social service to the people. And that's exactly what ended up happening, you know?
Yeah,
And
it was a typical social service like BS movie. And let's not talk
exactly.
about the climax sequence. Oh my god, dude, that seaboard sequence. Wow. I cannot tell what wins. The Vivegam climax intro or the Valime intro or this. I cannot tell. All of it is just absolute cringe trash. And,
Yeah.
and the officer at the end has sympathy. Samutrakanika's character has sympathy for Ajit. What? Which police officer is gonna have like sympathy for some like criminal going around shooting everyone, being like, the reason why I stole all this is because I wanted to do social service. They try to bring in like weird plot holes to justify the main characters, and you don't feel sorry for the character, like why he's actually like, because when you like look at a villain, you're supposed to sort of empathize with the villain and say, okay, I can see the reason why the villain does the things that he does. But honestly, like it was so weak the way it was written. Everybody has sympathy for him now, and then he's let out. The police
Yeah. You
salutes him.
know, you mentioning Samudrakani, like that ending dialogue was the worst. Dude was like,
Yeah.
I wanted to see him as a clown, but he made me see him as a hero. And I'm just sitting here like, what? I was like, what did he even do? Because like this was a funny thing, you know, when I'm going back to predictability, the ending sequence was coming, right? And they dove into the water and they're like, you know, we're supposed to think they're dead or some like dumb like thing like that. But um my dad's sitting next to me, right? And he's literally like, watch them. Watch it say something like, "Oh, they're in international waters" or something, and that's exactly like literally like 20 seconds later, it says international waters, and like
I know.
when the audience is sitting there, like they know what's gonna happen next. Like you've already messed up as a director, you know, and it's also the weird thing is like H.Vinoth directed this, right?
Yes, let's talk about that.
I literally noticed very recently that he's directed the past three films for Ajit for some reason, and it makes sense. Nerkonda Parve was a good movie. He hit it with that.
Yeah.
And then Valime was just like,
Yeah, let's talk
you
about
know, it was just a bunch of bikes and all that. And then we have this one is just a bunch of guns. And then the water sequence, I feel like they just try to do some like KGF type of ending and just completely blew it out of the water.
Wait, by the
Not
way, have you seen Dhiran, Adhigaram, and
exactly.
Chaturanga
That was
Venkat?
also a good movie,
I
right? From
know.
with Karthi. That was
But
probably
what
one of
does
the
it tell
best.
you, dude? What does it tell you? It tells you that a lot of these good directors, they want to listen to the mass hero and write elements for the mass hero rather than having the mass hero enter their story, enter their character. It
Exactly.
felt like all these three past H. Vinod movies were so catered towards Ajit's star image rather than can Ajit like fit in my story? Because I
Hmm.
think that's because I feel like not everybody can pull off a mass hero movie. Not even though people give Utley criticism, I think Utley's the only director that can pull off a mass hero in this generation. Everybody else, they kind of need to be in their own zone. They need to be their own director's vision. Nobody, it's too hard to pander to everybody. Either it needs to be an
Hmm.
out and out masala movie, or it has to be like a completely director's vision. And I think that's where I think I think H.Vinoth's next movie is with Kamal Hassan and Danush. So I feel like that's obviously going to be much better because Kamal and Danush are not going to ask H.Vinoth to write 10 different intro songs or random fight sequences. See, this is the problem when you direct an Ajit.
Yeah, those intro songs were don't get me started. Ajit doesn't know how to dance. I don't know why he
Oh
did.
my god,
I
Chilla.
don't know why.
Okay, which
Like,
was worse, Chilla Chilla or the Nanga Varamari?
probably for I don't even know
Both
because
songs
like
were trash. Yuvan messed up on the last song.
yeah, because
Both the albums were terrible. Not even unbearable to listen to.
when I was watching, I was just thinking of Volume. I was like, is he gonna top the Volume intro dance? Because that was just like
That gave me
um
PTs.
yeah, and I mean, it was equally bad. I feel like Ajit just like this. I mean, okay, I'll just say this: if there was too much violence, right?
Mhm.
At this point, they might as well have just kept it going, just full on violence. Like there was no point in bringing in the dances and I don't know if you noticed in the middle, most people probably wouldn't have noticed, but like there were two people that were casted from Big Boss, right? The TV show. And they were in this that they came in for
Oh
like
yeah.
literally like 2 minutes, Amir and Pavni. 2 minutes. And my entire family, we were all watching this movie. We're so confused. We're like, why are they even there? Like, if you're gonna put them in there, like give them a nice backstory. You know, they brought them in and then shot them. I'm like, why? Like there was so much shooting and like the cringest like one of the cringest scenes and I wasn't shocked at all. They they got blown up in a car, right? And then
Oh my
and I
god.
knew when I saw that I was like watch them just magically reappear like somewhere and
Yeah,
then
the
magically get healed and that's exactly what happened. You know, they end up in some like village down in some like in like with some like village people. Um and obviously they tied in that village people with some other character later on who's from like Kokut Komali. I noticed that with the casting. Bunch of people from Vijay TV, right?
yeah.
These Vijay TV shows. Um, and I don't know why. I mean, sure, it's good to give them opportunities, but other than Darshan, the banker guy at the end, the good guy, other than him, the other people didn't have like significant roles, and I feel like they were done dirty. You know, they could have gotten like much more out of this movie. Um, they focus so much on Ajit and his ability to handle guns properly. And I don't know what it's I mean,
Well,
I don't
also
know.
too, it's a haste movie. There's no thrill, there's no suspense, there's no good villain, there's no good antagonist. Ajit makes a terrible anti-hero. So
Yeah,
everything about the movie is absolute trash. When people say Thunivu was like this like really like decent movie to watch, it was not decent to watch. It was just indecent to watch. It
it
just felt
wasn't.
like watching like if Volume represents like I don't know, like we'll just say this. If Volume represents like a shitty eating like a shitty taco at Taco Bell, this is like vomit. Like I don't
Yeah.
know how to like it's just absolute trash. And
Yeah.
a lot of Ajit fans got really mad. I do. Have you noticed like there was a lot of Ajit fans that were really extremely mad at us for like kind of putting this movie at a very low review. But understand, look at H. Vinod's work. Compare Dhiran Adhigaram Wonder, which is a great crime movie, compared to this movie. Look at the screenplay. You're sitting down waiting for every event to happen. But in this movie, you know everything's gonna happen. It just feels like a dumb action movie. It felt like Baywatch or some like dumb The Rock movie, Johnson movie. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure the only people that were satisfied were Ajit's like blind fans. Like, you know, the people that just because like I'm the one who wrote that review, right? And on Instagram I'm reading the comments and it's just a bunch of people they're like, oh, you rated it this low. And inside I was just thinking, I was like, I gave it a
I don't
5.8.
know. I would pick Beast over this. I would pick Beast any day over this. At least
Yeah,
Beast, the
no, I
songs
probably
and the
would too.
BGM were amazing. I did not like this at all. I would pick this Beast. You can get mad at us, but Beast was way better than this
It
anyway.
was no. I mean, okay, you can't like
It's not
um
a good movie though.
yeah, opinions are gonna vary, but this is one thing I like about Kamal Hassan, right? Um, for the most part, this is his view on movies, right? It doesn't matter if the fans like the movie or not. The only thing that matters to the actors in the end is how much money they made on that movie, right? The box office doesn't lie.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, there are rare cases where movies were actually bad, but they got the box office purely because of the hype. 2.0 is an example. Um, And obviously, every
Like,
single Vijay and Ajit movie has
yeah,
made a profit regardless of how bad it is, including Thunivu. I'm sure it made double or even
yeah,
triple what it invested, and that's just normal. But you a good movie gets the box office it deserves, and an example is Bahubali Part One, Part Two, Thunivu. I mean, sorry, not Thunivu. KGF Chapter One and Two. Um, a bunch of other Bollywood, Tollywood, Collywood movies. All these you'll when you look at box offices, you'll know, right?
yeah.
And so I'm sure the expectations from the director and Ajit and the entire team behind this, they didn't hit their mark for sure. And the worst part is that I didn't like at all is the fans. We were sitting here so hyped since like what last June for
Yeah, we were
20,
so hyped last June.
yeah, like 6 months, 7 months. Thunivu versus Varsho was supposed to be the big thing. And then what did both of them do? They're like, "All right, we're not gonna deliver at all. We're just gonna," and then they didn't even decide to go average. They decided to go subpar entertainment. Which
And
is
both of their movies have been lacking, no, for the past few. Obviously, box office. It's obviously because
yeah,
opening day, and also one thing you have to know is the reason why. And for example, with Rajini, Vijay, Ajit, they're the only people in the Tamil industry that will have this type of like box office craze. Other people, they can't get away with this. It's not
yeah,
like this in cinema anymore. It's only for them. And also their movies, but their movies have been lacking. You know, one thing to notice is that the reason why the box office is doing very well, aside from the fans and like FDS and family, is also because you're putting it on a festival day. If you put a movie, a big hero movie on Pongal, the Diwali, what sometimes what they could do is they could basically say, hey, there's no for this week, there's no schools, work, and the reason why they do that is to increase the collection of the movie. So with this, now you have an extra week. So that's why they released Varis and Thunivu on the 11th and the 12th. By releasing it on the 11th and the 12th, they get an extra day before Pongal, which is actually on the 14th, and there's an extra day. That's why
mm,
that's why the other languages that also had Sankranti movies, they got I think their opening day was on the 13th, so it gives them an extra edge. So a lot
hmm,
of it is just, I feel like they're just kind of the top heroes are in it for the money right now when it comes to Tamil cinema. So it's just, we're gonna have to see for there's apparently a clash for Talabadi 67, AK-62. We can talk about that
bro,
after
not again. Okay, I'll say
bodies.
this though. The next Hollywood movie, if I'm not mistaken, is part of the Loki verse, right? Or supposedly part of the
It
Loki verse.
they There has to be more updates on that because it's
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Vijay and his own thing, and he's like,
yeah.
"Can I be the hero?"
It's confirmed that the movie's with Lokesh, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, and but then there's a clash given something about whatever between
Yeah.
them. You're right, but if this does go through, it's highly unlikely that this is not going to be part of the Loki verse. Um, because I believe that's Lokesh Kanagaraj's vision is to basically take all the major Hollywood actors and build a universe, and he hasn't missed yet. I mean, he's only done two films. I already feel
See,
like
but I don't know if like somebody like Vijay will like enter into the Loki verse. See, that's a
yeah,
discussion that we'll
you're
have to
right.
have during the body set
Yeah,
review.
that's right. That's it
Yeah.
because I don't know if Ajit would ever if Vijay's gonna be in it, Ajit's probably not gonna be in it. I doubt they'd ever do anything together because they're such a
But
big
that stops because
rivalry.
Ajit cannot work with like directors like Lokesh. Because I feel like one thing Ajit is doing is he's only working with directors that he's having like really good like really comfortable with. And he also, I feel like he needs to give up the whole mass image star thing. I feel like he needs to like do what suits him, but also not just focus on satisfying their fans, but focus on, does the common audience really enjoy this movie?
Yeah,
Because it's not about masala or not. Common audiences will always enjoy masala movies. KGF 2, they'll enjoy Vikram, RRR. Just aside from the pan India movies, the normal ones like Tiruchitrambalam, that's considered a commercial family movie. People enjoyed that.
hmm,
Yeah, even to an extent. What's that movie that came out? Even Allah Vaikuntapura, it's a Allu Arjun movie. People
yeah,
like that
yeah. That was a
movie.
good movie. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's a family commercial. But see, the reason why Telugu movies they know how to do the masala genre is they don't write like they don't write just for the fans. They write for the common audience too. So even
yeah,
though it's masala, it's still entertaining. But when you watch movies like this, it's so preachy and it's just so dramatic rather than entertaining. So I think I want to ask you for this final question is, what do you think is the problem with the modern Mas Masala movies? Are they just catering to the fans, or do they need to cater more to the common audience?
The problem here is it's not, I wouldn't say the entire industry, because Sivakarthikeyan and Dhanush and those kind of like, because there's like tiers, right? And
Yeah,
Hollywood, and I'd say top tier would be Kamal, Rajni, Ajit, Vijay.
Vijay.
That's probably it.
Yeah,
Those four,
that's it for
right?
the tier one. Yeah.
Yeah. So amongst those, Rajni, Ajit, and Vijay are all like they're the problem. It's because these mas masala films is not meant to like be well, I feel like they confuse because the directors and whoever's writing these scripts automatically assumes that if a film if the hero or the protagonist is made to look like super like a god or something in these
Yeah.
films, like everyone's gonna automatically be like, oh my God, look at Ajit with his white beard and sunglasses, and what else does he got with his freaking earrings on, right?
Yeah, but I
This
hate that. It's just cheap marketing.
Yeah, like I mean, he looks it's a unique look. I wouldn't say it's a bad look, but um, it's also kind of forced. It's. I mean, okay, that's the one. It's like there are a few pros to this movie, right? Because we didn't mention this yet, I do want to quickly mention the pros of this movie. One of them is I do like his look. In
Oh
my
yeah.
background, right? It suits him. It's like one of the few things in this movie that does suit him. And then also the only other pro I could think of is the comedy. There was that one reporter guy, the old guy who was cracking random jokes and
That was so dumb and annoying. I don't know.
yeah, that was like the most minimally entertaining part of this entire movie, and he was kind of on the side. It wasn't even incorporated with this movie. And then there was a few like other like Samudrakani came in with like his Moss entry, and he's supposed to be like the match for Ajit, and then in the end it was completely clowned on. I don't even know what happened in the end. Again, it's just hard to even explain the ending unless if the audience has watched it. Is like they it just went by in a flash. I swear. I looked at the thing. They something happened in the waters. I looked back and the movie's done. Like that. It was like, maybe if he hadn't done that ending, this movie would have been rated higher. Um, because
Well,
my
I mean, a
person,
lot of people are blind enough to rate it pretty high itself. I just think, dude, it was just like even with the clash, we'll get into the Vodisa review, but general man, this clash was very disappointing. For
yeah,
like this level of
honest,
hype to be like, man, I don't know. I'm kind of losing faith in the tier one heroes, especially with Rajni
yeah.
and Kiran.
The
So I
only
don't know.
hero in tier one right now that I actually enjoy and like is Kamal Hassan.
Yeah.
Kamal Hassan is probably the only born actor. Um, I don't even know what movie he did before Vikram because it's been a while. I think maybe
Yeah, he
Vishwarupam
did a
too.
Vishwarupam too. Yeah, yeah. But that
Yeah,
was a
so that was a
really
good movie.
yeah.
Vishwarupam was a good movie. Most of his movies are good. I can't really think of a Vijay. I mean, Kamal
Kamal
movie that
like
was.
there are Kamal movies that were bad, but it was like it was not like cringe. It was not cringe because there's
Yeah,
10 people flying. It just didn't work out. It's just
yeah,
boring. So,
exactly.
but
So
when you see a Ajit movie, Vijay movie, if it's terrible, it's terrible.
no,
So,
it was this
yeah.
movie was so bad that like my family, we just, I mean, specifically me too. I haven't even watched Odyssey yet because I'm worried it's gonna be the exact same situation. And from what I've heard, it is. I'm watching it soon, hopefully. Not hopefully, but kind of for the sake of watching it, to get you guys a review. But we'll see how that one goes.
Yeah, I'm done, bro. This movie gave me a headache. Reviewing this gave me a headache, so I
Yeah,
don't know what to
we're just
feel.
reviewing it for the
Yeah, I
sake
don't
of the
know.
audience, but like
Yeah.
it was
Overall, yeah. If you guys want a migraine or a headache, go watch this movie. If not, you guys can go watch Plane or Megan, but even better choice. Peace out.
yeah.